What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new raid cam. This is raid cam number 14 and it's a little bit different today. We are on a server called Vortex Rust. It is a solo duo trio quad server ×2. They also run a ×2 solo server as well, so make sure you check those guys out at vortexrust.com. So it's groups of 4 that are raiding and defending today, and we may see a couple of counter raids as well. Now the base is out in the snow, so it's going to be difficult living, you're going to get cold, but they've got the gun galleries, they've got the platforms to land their helis on so they can run down to their loot rooms and stash their loot quick smart as well. Now if you're looking back in the previous updates, you'll know that electricity is in the game, so these guys have many forms. They've got generators, solar panels, and also windmills. They've also got the metal barricades down in the compound and external to the compound to make it a little bit harder for you to blow through those external walls. Also, with the electronic update, we now need to power sentries as well, and they've got this well and truly covered with what looks like automatic roller doors and powered sentries. Now you would think that this space would be a hell of a lot bigger being a ×2 modded server, but it is early on in the wipe, so I really hope we can see some action-packed raiding going on today. The attackers we have today are a little group called 9 Inch. They're attacking the defenders and they both know that one is raiding the other. So they know it's an online raid and they have been prepping for quite some time. So I'm hoping that they're ready for these guys to rock up on them. They are taking their sweet ass time to build this fob. So a little bit more experience and training on that, getting that slapped down real quick would be ideal for these guys. As on a vanilla server we've seen in the past, they wouldn't have stood a chance if they had raided someone in the likes of TGB. They do, however, have a loot base just down the hill, so they're running loot from there and back to the top to their main fob. Could be a little bit risky. Obviously, they could get jumped halfway across and lose their rockets, but they do have guys with the L96s up the top there, looking down, and we are getting return fire already. Such an early time on the raid with an M249 from the defenders. They've got a couple of guys up here just in front of the fob having a look down now, and they're just putting sort of suppressive fire down on the raid to keep these guys at base, probably so they can just move in, put the C4 down the walls, and the first external wall has been removed. Holding his position there at the breach while the defender comes up with a wall, and he's walled it in. He's taken too long and they have to be able to wall it back in and seal the breach. That is a fatal mistake to be on so early in the raid to waste that C4. AK Fire breaking their build up so they can't build back in. Rocketeers coming down where the L96 was before, but they're putting the rockets and it looks like incend rounds for the sentries, and using the holes in the external walls to their advantage to be able to put the fire through and take out the guys in the compound. Raining fire down on these sentries, doing their best to remove them. They can make their life hell. They're not going to be able to push through until they make some sort of movement on those. What looks like a scrap heli has made its way into the base. This could be a fairly decent counter raid with a group of 3 pushing in with the scrap heli. Meticulously circling around the raid like a hawk, scoping out what's going to be done, and they've done it again. They've put down the high walls and he's let him seal the breach, but this time he hasn't known he was just there hiding in the bush, and hopefully he can push through and stop these guys from sealing their breach for the second time. PvP rockets being fired up to there while you see the scrap heli up in the background looking for a place to land. Possibly allied with the guys raiding, as he doesn't seem too phased by the guys landing behind him, but the counter raiders are putting fire down on what looks to be the main base getting raided. Definitely taking fire from that main base while they hold their position up on that snow mountain, but they are taking hits and they are going through meds. Counter raided back from a random counter raider. He's doing the old incend rounds in the shotguns, but he has no match for the AK-47. Counter Raiders are now taking off in that scrap heli and getting pushed up by the defenders, and they're taking heavy AK fire, but they've been able to dip and dive out of there with that scrap heli without taking too much damage. Plenty of smoke bellowing out of that thing, and I would like to see how much health is actually left on it. Rockets into the night as well. The night on this server is short night, so it doesn't last very long, so we're going to probably sail through the night if you are wondering what happens, but they are putting down some sort of fire onto their sentries, onto the fob, probably allowing for them to move up the hill slowly and see if they can counter raid the attackers. Early Rooster catches the worm, but in this case it's the rocket into the compound. They're building what looks like some sort of wall to stop these guys shooting rockets from the fob. It's a really smart idea. It's going to use up a lot of extra rockets, and but they're going to have to build it quick, and they're going to have to get that height. As you can see, they're going over the top of the build-up, and at this point it's quite ineffective. I do have to note that the time between them shooting rockets, they may only have one rocketeer at this time, is actually allowing the guy down on the ground in the compound to upgrade the base. But they have made a little bit of progress through here, and they've breached a couple of walls, but they haven't breached a compound. It's been resealed, so I really don't know how this raid is going to be successful at this point. And they are taking severe casualties in their fob as well. M249 raining fire down at the guy at the high external wall between the fob and the raid base, and has succumbed to the fire. It's got too much for him, but it's not going to slow those rockets down as they pummel into the side of the base. It appears that they've got a second rocketeer. It's about bloody time. They've still got a guy down that compound, and he seems to be not too phased by these rockets. Then they've still got to get through the high external walls, which I think is going to give him enough time to get in there and reseal the base anyway. These guys are going to have to come up with something really good. With a bit of PvP action coming here, he's pushing in. Dropped one of the raiders.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And a little bit of shit talk there, it's good to see. But now we're getting PvP rockets from the top of the base back to the guys on the hill. And we're also seeing the guys from the base pushing out and giving these guys a little bit of action out in the field. Scrap Heli is back again. They've probably got the reinforcements, a little bit more ammo and meds, and they are back here to piss a lot of people off. Pushing back up on that hill, and they're actually firing at the defenders from the main base, pushing out to have a crack at these counter raiders. Oh, PvP rocket misses. He comes up, but he's been AK in the face. That was a good little play there from the counter raiders, and he's getting... Oh, he's lost it. He's been taken out by what looks like the raiders. So maybe they're not mates, maybe I've been mistaken, but he's looting their bodies, and that is a couple of lost kits for these guys, while the 4 attackers continue to bubble in to the main base. These guys are really not quick enough. They are not sort of pushing through with the speed we need to see to raid a base of this size. But the difference is that there's only 4 of them and 4 of the defenders, and they know that they've taken a couple of them out in the field, so they're going to be possibly on timers, but we've got 2 full kit guys in the base ready to take them out. Rockets in and grenades are being thrown out while these guys are taking, again, full advantage of their misplaced walls while they're chucking C4 on there and re-entering the breach. An excellent play there while the rocket's been launched into the backside, while one's been dropped while the second pushes with a rocket, and he's got it in there, but I don't know how much damage he's done, but it's an incense rocket, and he's been able to hold that breach and finally push through to the first layer. Oh, he's dodged the rocket. The sentries are definitely doing their job and stopping those guys pushing around that left side, and it looks like that build-up they've built has actually infringed upon that other sentry helping. Creeping up slowly, he's got the play. Bit of an average AK spray there, but he's managed to do the job in the fire and take out the naked looting, the body, and also the guy holding the breach. Oh, third time round, third time lucky. These guys have resealed the breach and really slowing these attackers down. defender out on the field, attacking the attacker from the Raiders from 9-inch, and they are getting sprayed with the AKs. Killed a couple of the counter Raiders as well, which we weren't able to catch. There's just too much going on a too spread out field at the moment. Inside the fob now, he's looting back up again, probably restocking himself with some rockets, awesome ammunition and meds, and going back out there and see what he can do. One of the defenders has crept out here and he's out in the field in front of the forward operating base now, putting a couple pot shots into that window, but he's been snuck up on outside the compound to the fob and he's been dropped, and it looks like he was using explosive rounds or some sort of incense rounds, and been managed to take out the full kit, loot him and get back inside safely. Defenders still in the compound, building build-ups, sealing those breaches. All that wasted C4 and rockets have been put into there. It's a real shame to see these guys didn't push her a little bit harder, and they're sort of just holding back in the fob, and it's cost them a lot of time and it's cost them a lot of resources as well. And mate, if you're going to stand there like that, you know, use your A and D keys to make sure you're strafing left to right, otherwise you're just going to cop a couple bullets in the head. Bit of a play now coming from the defenders, and they're moving up on the attackers of 9-inch now. He's been taken out by a landmine, a well-placed landmine, but there's still one left and a naked on his left side. Moving in for the loot, but he's not aware that he's got guys on top of him, and he's getting pushed up on now by the full kit. Oh, well played by the full kit from 9-inch, one of the attackers. Holding up on the hill here, put a couple pot shots into the compound, keeping the defenders at bay. Not really doing a hell of a lot now, but we've got Tsuki, the counter-raiding scrap heli mob, up on the hill now, and they're sort of wreaking havoc down on the attackers and the defenders with their bolt actions, with their L96s as well, keeping that pressure on and making life pretty uncomfortable. Slowly coming down the hill now, they're taking fire from both the base and the fob. And it's going to be interesting. They've slapped down some bags by the looks of it. They're setting up home and they are here for the long run. Attackers now back again for their fourth attempt to breach into the compound. Oh, he's met with AK fire and a little bit of a play here. Double guys on one AK in the base, being pushed by a second. Pushing up now for a play. Can he clutch the moment? He's resealed it. He's resealed it for the fourth time. But he's pushed through and he shot through the gap with the AK and taken out one of the attackers while he's jumped through and taken him out. They thought they had sealed it, but they hadn't. So lucky for them for their fourth time, they didn't fuck it up again. Holy shit, Tsuki have now pushed right up to where they've just breached through. I don't know if the counter raiders realise that they've just resealed that and they're sitting in the compound, but it's going to make good for plays. A generator on there, which we don't normally see in vanilla gameplay. This is gifted for a VIP on this server. It's a modded thing, so it's not what we normally see, but that is to power the sentry. Rocket, PvP rocket through the gap, and it's taken out one of the counter raiders. The attackers are in the compound, and they are holding it well, making a couple plays there for themselves, and rockets are flying back and forwards, wiping out the field, and making life hell for Tsuki, the counter raiding clan. They've decided that they're not going to hold off through the gap, and they've blown the walls themselves. Rockets are PvP outside there, thinking they're going to breach, but they've pushed through. They've actually pushed through to another side now, just to say, fuck you guys, I'm coming through a different way, and you're not going to stop us. You can see them inside the base there, looting up the bodies, while Tsuki, the counter-raiding clan, basically still putting the rockets in and trying to take out that second layer. AK-5 down to the counter raiders from the top of the base, but they've been rocketed. Oh, the amount of rockets they've got, and they're using them well. They're fighting each other with rockets, AKs, and everything they've got, pushing back Tsuki down to the field. Looks like the defenders have actually pushed out of their own breach. They've actually taken back and killed the guys in the compound while they push back these counter raiders. They've got no cover here except that, obviously, that little bit of a ridge while they're getting M249'd, L96'd, and rocketed from the main base. Guys are back up on the fob. They've got rockets on their back, and it looks like they might be going out for a 5th push. This time, hopefully, they're a little bit quicker and don't let these guys seal back that breach for a 5th time. Attackers are down now. A couple of counter raiders, and the defenders are getting attacked while they're pushing up. But they've got another rocket in the face. What looks like the defenders have defended their breach very well again. Rockets are flying from the top while a guy is running in there making a play. We got incense rockets flying left, right, and center. But as far as I can tell, they've been able to hold the breach. They have retaken control, and the counter raiders are making a run back home. Thanks for watching, guys. Help the channel out. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
That's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me. You can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5.